Hi everyone. I'm so very pleased to be sharing with you all. Sorry, I've had a big year. Sharing with you all our exciting 2017 Parkland Rebels Success Summit. Everyone's journey before Parkland is different, but we all share the same love of a balance between work, family. We share the same dreams of a great income, free overseas travel, and not to mention an excessive love of bling. Today, for the first time, I share with you my story. I'm a little nervous, and yes, this could get a little emotional because whilst I am completely comfortable talking in front of crowds of people, I don't do talking about me very well. So let me start by telling you about my start. As a baby, my mother gave me up for adoption as she simply couldn't care for me. This did mean I passed through a number of foster homes before being adopted by the amazing parents I do have now at the age of 3. However, I struggled throughout my youth with extreme shyness and a constant fear of rejection. It's only in my adult life that I've come to terms with the fact that this fear of rejection really comes from what I saw as being rejected as a baby by my birth mother. In my teenage years, I was a very capable athlete, winning lots of awards for athletics, swimming and horse riding. But sadly, my inner demons completely ruled my life. During my schooling years, I not once attended an assembly where I was recognised for my athletics pursuits. Instead, I would plan days in advance and always be sick because I never wanted to be in front of a crowd of people and open myself up to public opinion. When my amazing husband Rick and I first got together, I knew he very quickly understood me for me, all my faults. Rick is an amazing role model in business and general motivation, and he had been very successful in direct selling prior to us meeting. So it wasn't long before we became a team. And yes, in the beginning, I was always the quiet one in the background. But because of this involvement in direct selling, I was constantly in front of truly inspirational world-class leaders. I slowly began to develop a voice. It's also where I first met Rebel, many years ago. Today, Rebel and Rick are both my number one fans, but they are also my number one critics. And I love the three of us as a team. Whilst I love to help people from all walks of life, I will always have a special passion for the everyday person, the underdog that struggles and simply hasn't had the success that they actually deserve just because life can be tough. Because for me, that's exactly where I came from. There is no greater way to feeling better about yourself than doing something for someone else, especially when you get to witness someone start to believe and succeed. In 2014, Rebel came to Rick and I with the possibility of Park Lane and an Australian franchise. But we were back heavily involved in our corporate worlds, working ridiculous hours with blinkers on that we simply couldn't fit anything else into our busy lives. But we believed in Rebel and we encouraged her to build the business herself. And I think you'll all agree with me, boy, did she build a business. At the beginning of 2015, Rebel again approached us with the Parkland opportunity. Yes, she's persistent. As fate would have it, Rick and I had just sold the business that I was running, and I was bored. We reviewed the business and couldn't believe what we found. But then again, we knew Rebel, and we knew if she truly sunk her teeth into something, she did exactly that. She'd built a huge business and was again being offered the opportunity of Australian franchise. But because of her own personal situation and her own personal skill set, she said she wanted us and she needed us. It was an opportunity we couldn't refuse, so the dream of the Parkland Rebels was born. In October of 2015, we were switched on. Rebel remained doing what she was best at, leading, pushing and motivating out front, whilst Rick was and still is our business mind and our counsellor, keeping us steady and even, Whilst my task was learning and the setting up of all the necessary systems. And boy, what a job, because we didn't start slowly. When we were switched on, we started with an already huge team. Together with Rick, we have 3 children. We have always pushed and encouraged our children to be their very best, and I know 100% that Rick and my drive to better ourselves and people around us has had a direct influence on our kids. Most of you know Jamie. At age 17, after completing high school, he won a tennis scholarship to Eastern Illinois near Chicago in the USA. When he first moved there, he struggled with homesickness, but he fought on and truly loved his time. He graduated with honours, and he moved back to Australia shortly after and married his American sweetheart, Sadie, who will be here tonight. Most of you also know Georgie. Georgie married her childhood love, Daryl, last year. Amazingly, at the ages of 23 and 24, they built their first house, and they already have plans to build their second house in the near future. I'll also add that Georgie is a fashion director, and she's currently ranked as branch manager, but is right now pushing to rank advanced to area. Both Jamie and Georgie are incredibly confident, well-spoken, caring and considerate young adults, and today, along with Kim, they run and manage the complex admin of the franchise in Grafton. To say Rick and I are proud of them is an understatement. In January of this year, after many discussions and the training of Jamie and Georgie, I moved into the field and the Bling Babes was formed. This meant awakening all my past direct selling experience from years prior, but with Rick and Rebel pushing me and all the leaders open to chatting and helping me, I was soon up and running. Okay, but when it comes to conquering adversity, which I am really passionate about, I have to talk about our third and our youngest child, Lindsay. At age 5, Lindsay was diagnosed with profound dyslexia, so profound she would suffer crippling vertigo with the simplest of activities like a merry-go-round. She was also diagnosed with an autistic spectrum disorder with high levels of Asperger's. Then at 15, Lindsay had a seizure, and after a week in Sydney Children's Hospital was also diagnosed with a form of tumour in her brain called cortical tubers. At a young age, she did develop a love for horses. They grounded her. But her disabilities meant that specialists unanimously agreed she would never be able to truly master this, would not be able to attend and pass high school. We developed the sayings, never give up, and can't is not in our vocabulary. Lindsay fought hard every day and still does. We are determined to prove the specialists wrong. Today, Lindsay is a truly gifted and recognised horse rider, and she is not just passing high school, but last year achieved 11 academic awards. In April of this year, Lindsay competed at the Show Horse Council Grand Nationals in Sydney. She was named top 10 Australian lady rider, even though she was the youngest in the field. She also awarded top 10 in Australia for Galloway Hack on a horse she trained, sold and was competing on for the horse's new owners. She also competed in the prestigious large hunter hack class, which is the largest height class and as such filled with top Australian riders, Lindsay's trainers, Lindsay's idols, riders that have sculpted her and been competing at this level for 20 years. Wow, she won. And as such, she and her beloved horse, Gus Bus, are currently ranked Show Horse Council's #1 large hunter hack in Australia. And she's just 17. Now, and I thought that bit was hard. Now I just want to touch base on the amazing flexibility of Park Lane. In June of this year, I fell very, very ill with bacterial meningitis and septicemia. I was so ill I was placed in an induced coma and put on life support. Rick was informed that they didn't know if they could save me and family rushed to the hospital. In total, I was in hospital for 15 days and it didn't matter, but I couldn't work. Obviously I couldn't do any work. Park Lane simply sat waiting for me. When I finally got out of hospital, I arrived home to find in my office amazing jewellery I'd earned an abundance of flowers, gifts and cards. And Rick gradually let me read hundreds of messages of support from my Park Lane family. Now that's around Australia and around the world. Everyone was there to help and support me through what has been a very emotional and frustrating rehabilitation. Now tell me, ladies, what 9-to-5 job can offer you this? On top of everything else amazing that Park Lane has done for us, Rick and I have travelled the world together. We've been to amazing international conventions in Las Vegas, Chicago, Rick's holidayed in Punta Cana with me, and Portugal on his own. And we are about to holiday in St Thomas. The holidays are beyond description, and you don't pay for anything. I truly believe that every single person has greatness within. You can overcome any adversity sent to test you. You just have to believe it. You have the right to dream, to want, to ask for things for yourself and your families. And I, for one, will never give up, and I will always be there for anyone and everyone wanting more. On that note, I'm Trysten Firth. I'm a wife, a mother, a stepmother. I'm a personal assistant, a cook, a cleaner, an ironing lady, a shopping lady, but I'm just me. At the end of the day, I'm a Park Lane rebel and I'm a bling babe and I control my own future. And the word can't doesn't exist. Yeah.